Thanks for tuning in to another episode of WGC Fits. Today, Sam and I are going to be testing the differences between a stock putter shaft, a aftermarket shaft, and a slightly different putter shaft to see how the outcome affects her putting. Now we're just going to be hitting some putts, and if you want to, I think now would be a good time to speak to a little bit about the differences that you're feeling before we deep dive into the differences of the tech.
Before?
As you're hitting putts.
Got it, okay.
All right. So this is the stock putter.
10-foot putt. Woohoo!
Good start. Now, would you say putting is a strength or a weakness in your game, Sam?
I've always been pretty good at reading putts, but for me, it's also figuring out like the pace and, so I'm learning too if I hit it off, not necessarily much with this, but my past putter is if I hit it off center, then like the strength
kind of goes awry a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You would feel like you need a different swing to hit the same shot, I guess.
Gotcha. So what are you feeling while hitting this putter?
So this is my gamer, so I'm definitely used to hitting this one. That I kind of babied it.
Do you feel like it's overall fairly repeatable, fairly dependable?
So something that I'm planning on doing is re-gripping this into it with a paddle grip, because I'm learning like my hands, and I get a little too handsy, I guess, sometimes. So that will allow me to just be more stable. So that will help me out, just having a more consistent follow through.
Okay.
So it is more repeatable.
Repeatability is what we want in putting, right?
100%.
That's how we're going to make putts.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's switch it up now. We're going to go with an Odyssey Stroke Lab shaft next.
Cool.
Now, again, after a couple putts here, talk a little bit about the differences that you're feeling, okay?
Do.
For the video.
That was a good one. Not so good.
So, couple putts in, how do you feel? What do you feel the differences are between yours and this?
Yeah, you can definitely feel that it's different. It's lighter. It's kind of like a sandwich almost, in a sense where the top and bottom are a lot heavier, and then the center is lighter.
Oh, that's perfect.
Good way to.
That's exactly what it is. So that works. What do you feel that this is helping you do in your putting stroke? Anything?
Yeah, I would definitely say that this is lighter than I'm used to compared to my gamer.
Okay. That's fair enough to say.
That was a bad one.
Definitely different, but our result wasn't too bad. Let's try this one now.
All right.
Now this is a Bettinardi with a stability shaft in it. Good start.
In AG's terms. Let's see. Damn it. All right.
Putt.
Thank you. One more in and call it a day.
Beautiful putt. Wow. So what's this one feeling like? Couple putts in.
Yeah. I would definitely say for my stroke, it's closer to my gamer than it is the Odyssey one was. But I liked the weight of it. But I liked that it was a stiff shaft, so that way it felt like I could always come back to center, essentially.
It felt repeatable,
every time.
right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. No, that's good. Now, I would say based on the results, you hit that one really well, right? So now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit about what the differences between them all are. Okay. And then we will do a little competition and we will see what everything is, right? So putter heads and putters in general, they for a long time didn't change from a technology standpoint, right? So you have something that's very, very heavy down here, normally somewhere in the realm of like 350 to 370 grams. That's pretty normal, right? Then you have something very heavy up here, which is a putter grip, which can be anywhere from, 70, 80 grams up to 140 grams, right? And then you have a shaft in the middle that's pretty soft, right? Realistically, there's not a lot there. So think about it as very light, very heavy, and you actually create quite a bit of bend just by gravity holding this thing, right? So this is why general putter shafts are a little bit obsolete in my opinion, right? Now, you putt pretty well with this. It's got a heavier weight to it, but there was definitely improvements made when we saw the other stuff, right?
For sure.
Now, this was one that you said you didn't love the feel of. You said it felt a little bit light, right?
Yes.
This is the Odyssey with the Stroke Lab. Now, what the Stroke Lab shaft is letting it do here is take some weight out of the middle, redistribute it in the head and in the grip section, and the point of that is consistency in terms of being able to make a repeatable putting stroke, right? Now, even though you didn't like the way this one felt, the putting stroke itself was pretty good, right? The whole idea behind this is basically to be able to create a takeaway and a follow through that's pretty similar, right? And even though you didn't love the way it felt, I would say that that's something you probably did because you made a lot of putts with it, right? Yeah. So kind of a little bit newer, more modernized version of a standard putter shaft, right? Now lastly, we have the stability shaft. Now what this is doing is basically it's super stiff and it's really heavy, right? Now the stiffness and the heaviness of this shaft kind of takes away this, like we were talking about, right?
That makes sense.
So if we're setting up and getting ready to hit a putt, right? Obviously what we want to do is get back to our setup position because that's where everything's lined up and we're in the middle. Make sense? Yeah. So the point of this is to make it so we can return to our setup position and strike the center of the putter a little bit better.
Definitely.
Now we just watched you roll, what, 3 or 4 putts in a row right that, right?
Yeah.
Pretty repeatable and consistent, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And these are all from putters that are a little bit different and different from what you normally use. But you can see that the difference is definitely there, right?
For sure.
So I think what I want to do now is I would like to sit there and say, 1, do you have any questions about any of these? 2, we're going to do a little competition and we're going to see how they actually affect you. Does that sound good?
No, that sounds awesome.
All right, questions?
Perfect. No.
So far good?
So far good.
All right, perfect. So we're going to pace off your favorite putt distance. All right, Sam? So we're going to hit 3 putts with each of these. Oh, well, this is just out of camera. 3 putts with each of these.
3 of each.
And then we'll give you a grade, basically. We're just going to have her hit 3 putts each after we kind of introduce the putters to her and everything like that. And we're going to see if one of these 2 that are slightly different than your standard steel shaft are better, right?
Yeah, of course. All right. In between those 2, I think we have a winner.
Now, you happy with those 3 putts? Do you feel like you hit them well?
I would say the first one, I didn't hit it.
Solid?
Solid.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the first one I didn't hit as solid. The second one I overcorrected and hit
Third one's in.
Hit it harder, and here we are.
1 for 3, and not a bad group from 8 feet.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to do the Stroke Lab shaft next.
Perfect.
All right, so this is the Odyssey Stroke Lab. Let's see how this one does. So far, 1 for 3 is our target.
All right. Ooh, not shabby.
Solid start.
Oops.
It's all right.
Not so good. Not so good.
1 for 3. All right. Now we are going to do the Bettinardi.
All right.
Get 3 in there. All right, so now we're testing the stability shaft. And our goal target is still 1 of 3.
All right. Close.
It's a good putt.
Go, little ball. Oh, close. I would say that's definitely the tightest cluster of all of them.
I'll say that's not bad.
Yeah.
Realistically, from 8 feet, 10 feet, right? I don't expect all of those putts to go in, right? But what I want is I want an easy tap in,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that is a great group right there.
For sure.
So now that you know a little bit about the difference between stability shaft, stock steel shaft, Stroke Lab shaft, right? Would you say that you could definitely feel the difference between them all?
Yes.
Kind of understand the point, right?
Yes, 100%.
Now, my question to you would be, are you interested in potentially trying out something a little bit more maybe with one of these for you?
Yeah, I would definitely say I didn't realize how much the shaft really affected
It
putting.
makes a big difference, doesn't
It
it?
makes a huge difference, and even just the feel itself, you feel more confident in your putter, depending on
That's
the
the big thing.
person. But yeah, for me, I felt more confident in this. So
When you're confident, you're going to make putts.
Yep.
And that's what we want, right? Confidence. That's good on a putting green. Not a bad thing. There we go. Good job today, Sam.
awesome, thank you.
Thanks for watching another episode of WGC Fits, where we tested out the difference between some putter shafts. Stay tuned, see what happens next.